it is important that you go out into the world and see how other countries are and what other culture and customs and traditions there are. I don't know, this is probably really silly to you guys, but for example, I left 90210. So,
yeah.
California was just.
Welcome to From My Welcome to From My View podcast, brought to you by the partners at Community Marketing. We are your hosts, Madison and Michelle, and we are so excited to share this with you.
So let me welcome you to our show
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
So I'd like to welcome Rita. She's amazing. She's one of my good friends, and she's in my connections group.
Yes.
And
I love this, by the way. I love this networking business group. It's
I do
so
too.
good.
I do
Such
too.
great
I've met
people.
some amazing people.
Yes.
So cool.
So then I have a question. So what's Germany like compared to, I guess, here? I guess just
Yeah.
the lifestyle, food, living.
Yeah.
What is it like?
Oh my gosh, that's such a hard question. But I think the biggest thing for me is it's about family time, about traditions, in terms of, leisure time and being together as family. And then specific foods, I mean,
so
you've
cool.
heard of the sausages and sauerkraut and all those things,
And the
those
beer.
and
the
what?
beer.
Beer.
Yes, of course,
Lots
beer.
of beer.
Yes,
Lots of
beer and pretzels. But
Yes.
to be honest, it's somewhat stereotypical.
Yeah.
Because that's just from one region, Bavaria in Germany, and so
Okay.
it has become a little bit of the lederhosen and the dirndl dress is quite a stereotype. So in the region that I'm from, in the Rhineland, it's near Cologne, near the Rhine River. It's very different.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing is that Sundays everything is closed. Just main
Whoa.
things, maybe some restaurants and gas stations and whatnot are open, but you truly have a rest day in the week, and so people really spend that together. And then national holidays are, everybody's off. It's not really negotiated, That's
I like
it's
that.
just
Me too.
it's just
Gosh, I wish that
time
was like
to
that here.
rejuvenate and to to have a day of rest essentially before the week starts again.
That's
And
awesome.
so I think a lot of European countries pay a lot of attention to that part of being having
your
the
family.
work-life balance and
Yes.
enjoying life
Wow.
and celebrating the holidays together in ever which way.
I think that's so
So, yeah.
important. I mean, the Americans need to really think.
Yeah.
Really
It'll probably
need
never
to learn from the
change.
European.
It'll
Yeah.
probably never change, but
Well,
No, it
that
won't.
sounds so
But
fun.
Yeah, but it makes it quite interesting when I first came for an exchange program, and that was kind of funny because it was only a 3-week thing, but I'm just throwing it out there. It's just hilarious because it connects back to the area. My high school had a partnership with Yuba City and Marysville High School. And so when I was, I don't know, it was 95. I did a 3-week exchange. So I came here during spring break, and then they would usually come with their group in the summertime. And that's how I met a girl. We became pen pals, and we're still friends. And we've
Oh, that's really
visited,
neat.
That's so
we visited
neat.
each other over the years. She's now in the Bay Area, but for not till a year and a half ago or so. But she has kids and everything, so I know her grandparents and her parents and everything, and she was at our wedding, and so it's just a really
that's
cool
neat.
connection,
Yeah, a lot of
And-
schools do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of international students too. Because I went to school in Auburn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there was always so many exchange students, and it was
Yeah.
so fun from all different countries.
Yeah.
It was super
Yeah.
cool. Same with Lincoln High School, very similar. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really fun. So I don't know how we got to this, but I think it was all the German stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and we'd love to hear about that.
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
fascinating
Yeah.
to us.
Yeah, so when I was 20, I ended up doing an exchange, or not an exchange, but I was a nanny on an exchange program. Let's just call it that. It was called Au Pair in America.
Yeah.
And I ended up going to Atlanta for a year and was a nanny there. And yeah.
So why? Let me ask you this. So you're in Germany. You grew up in Germany. Why did you want to come to America? Why would you? Why? I mean, why wouldn't you just want to live life in Germany? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm always curious.
So the funny thing is, my parents took us many places, and when I was growing up, we went to Spain a lot every summer. It's like a 14-hour drive, so there were 2 locations that we went to over the years, but that's pretty much where we spent our summers.
Really?
And
That's so cool.
and yeah, I just loved it. And we traveled a little bit in Europe, went to Italy and all those things. So my parents always traveled, and so they really exposed us to that. And again, my brother is 4 years older, so he did trips on his own when he got older, in his late teens, and went to camps, and I went to camps and all this stuff. But they really supported that and said it is important that you go out into the world and see how other countries are and what other culture and customs and traditions there are. It's so important to realize, you're not alone, and there are other things out there. And so I always loved that. And so when high school came around and had this exchange program, I think that's what it started with.
Okay.
To actually do it and being able to travel to the US that way, because it was very organized. It was, with a group of students that signed up for it, and where the parents supported it, because, you have to fly over, and then you stay with host families for the 3 weeks. But I think leading up to that, it was TV. TV shows and everything.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, of course. Like, you're inspired by, I don't know, this is probably really silly to you guys, but for example, I left 90210. So, California was just that. And I don't know, there's just...
I've heard that before, though.
Yeah.
I've heard that from people that, travel here, like Jaden's ex-boyfriend, because he was from Germany too, and we're like, why would you want to come? And he's all, why not? Yeah. Why would you not want to go, especially to California? Yeah. It's like a dream.
Okay. Well, and a lot of draw. And I mean, you have, the ocean and everything at your fingertips in Germany too. You can go to the North Coast, or you can go to the Netherlands, and, but it's a very different ocean. So, when you go to Spain, you obviously have beautiful, weather and the ocean, or, the sea. And so I was always drawn to that too. And then surfing was always something that I was really drawn to. So, actually, fun fact, when I first moved here, officially in 2003, I ended up buying a surfboard.
Did
and
you
I
really?
took classes and everything. So I surfed in Pacifica. Yeah.
Oh, that's cold.
Yeah.
That's very cold.
So you're like, have to wear the wetsuit and everything. Yeah. But
Wow.
it definitely was a draw. And I had some friends, and they chuckle over this when they hear this now, but they would travel a lot, quite a bit, to the US and also Canada. And Costa Rica. And so the one friend said, he's like, if you're moving to California, you have to learn how to surf. So they came to visit me when I first moved here, and then we went together and rented boards, and he showed me some things too before I even took classes and stuff. So it's really fun.
Yeah, I've never been on a surfboard.
Neither have I. And we lived here our entire lives.
So I got a longboard. So, it's a little easier, I hear. But I did that for a while. And then when I moved up here to Sacramento, I actually I stored it for a while with a friend in San Francisco, and then he's like, "Hey, we're moving. Can you pick up your surfboard?" So I brought it up here, and then ended up selling it, online for a good amount of money.
Good.
But I
Good.
sold it to someone from San Francisco, so she came up to meet me here and pick it up.
Oh, that's cool.
So
That's
that was
funny.
cool. It got a new life. So
Yeah.
that was
That's
good.
funny.
Good.
Yeah. So, but to come back to your question, this is kind of what drew me. And then, of course, coming for that 3-week exchange didn't necessarily, Yuba City and Marysville did not necessarily, connect with that kind of beach surfing
Right,
feeling.
exactly.
Yeah,
You're
it
like,
doesn't really
that's-
portray the
No.
stereotypical
No.
California
No, not
like
at all.
high school
Yeah.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, but we did some trips and went to San Francisco, and so I got to see other parts of it
Oh,
too,
good.
and we saw some of Tahoe, and so I, saw different
fun.
different areas.
So you're
that
like, this is where I want to go.
I really like this, yeah,
Good.
and so I stayed in contact with my friend, and like I said, became pen pals, and yeah, I ended up visiting her, and I met a boy too, and all this. So
And that boy
I-
was now your husband?
no.
Oh, okay,
No,
somebody
no,
else.
no, that didn't work out, but it's all good, all has its time.
Yeah.
But that made me go and decide to come to Atlanta for that year. So I wanted to see how it is to live in the US, and I liked it, but California was still a bigger draw than Atlanta. It was so stinking humid over there.
Oh yeah.
gosh.
I can't.
The
I can't
humidity
live
is
in that.
ugh.
No, that's bad.
Oh
So
gosh.
yeah, and how I actually came over here is with IKEA. So that's how
I was
can
just about to ask about that when you're
segue into
finished.
that.
Yeah, I want
Yes.
to talk about IKEA.
Yeah, so going back to the apprenticeship piece that I started talking about earlier. So when I was 16, I wanted to be in a creative field, and I wanted to do, I wanted to get an education in a creative field. And
Yeah,
so at the time, IKEA was offering also this apprenticeship in visual merchandising and interior design.
And where was it located at the time?
Oh, it was just outside of Cologne, so
Okay.
near where I grew
Okay.
up. And so, my hometown was 15-20 minutes outside of Cologne, and you could bus and, public transport is so great over there. And so I could bus and, take
perfect.
the train and everything to get to work. But yeah, so I started this apprenticeship, and it was 2 or 3 times a week. You go to school, and then you actually work in the job. And IKEA, unfortunately, these kind of apprenticeships are not offered here in the US like this, and which is a bummer, because there's a lot of people that don't really learn just in the school environment. They want to apply themselves
Yes.
practically, and that was very much me. And in that apprenticeship, you went through all the different departments of this job, or in the creative department or design department. So you were hanging out for a few months with the carpenters and learned how to lay laminate flooring and paint walls and do wallpaper.
Gosh, I wish they would do
and
that
They
here.
should do that here.
wood shop
Yes.
kind of thing. And then
that's
you were in the
amazing.
graphics department.
Yes.
So back then, and this is now, it sounds crazy to say, but it is so many years ago. But back then, the price banners that they have in the store, we were writing them by hand with Sharpies, with large industrial Sharpies.
Wow.
Yes.
The prices. So every year when the new catalog came out, all the sales departments needed to turn in their lists of what banners they wanted
Wow.
for the graphics
Oh my
department,
goodness.
for all the departments, and then everybody was writing those banners. So anyway, so graphics department, then activities was a department where you set up all these podiums seasonally for all these kind of seasonal areas. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so you went through all the different departments, so you really learned the trade. So you went into visual merchandising, interior design, and you worked on the job, and then you went to school twice a week to
That's
learn
great.
the theory.
Well, I'm like, why don't we have that here?
know,
That would
yeah.
be
I
amazing.
know there's so many people that would benefit from
Oh,
that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, after 3.5 years, you have, depending on how, there's different ways of how you can do that, or how the companies offer it. But you then have a practical and written exam with the Chamber of Commerce. It's all supported through that. So it's pretty amazing. And I absolutely loved it. I met some... You talked about or asked about mentors earlier. There were definitely some people that I met throughout the years that just have been amazing people and supporters in my life. Yeah. And
do most I guess children do this? Yeah. Do most kids go through that, or
well, it's really depending. Again, you take high school and then you can decide if you go... I'm simplifying it, right? But you go through high school, and then there's an additional 3 years that you can do to get a specific certification, let's call it. And then you can go to university to become a lawyer, to become an architect, to a doctor, those things. But if you just take the high school route, then it opens up, all the things like an apprenticeship. And essentially, it's like an internship that's paid.
that's
Right.
cool.
So you also get paid. So you go to school, you work there, you get paid. So you learn really early on also how to handle your money, how to get to the job on time. So the work ethic is, from the get-go at 16 or 17, depending on when you do that, is huge, right?
And that's
And
amazing.
my parents instilled that at me always. Like, I had a paper route and, all those things. But I think this solidified it or molded me even more.
Good.
That would be
I really, really enjoyed it. And I to make a long story a little shorter, but I ended up being with IKEA for almost 22 years.
Okay.
So after my au pair year as a nanny, I came back and I was able to get back into IKEA, but in a different location. It was just one city over. And a few years in, I was training for managing position, and they started to expand in the US, and they needed people to help build new stores. And to make it super quick, because there was a lot of back and forth between that, but I ended up transferring with IKEA to Palo Alto, and I helped open up the store there, and I was interior design manager for that store, for all the room settings, essentially.
That's
Oh my
and
goodness.
how
That's
exciting.
so fun.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I had a team, and there were amazing people from all over, and with all these interesting backgrounds. And gosh, I met so many wonderful people over the years that are still friends today. And it's really neat to see where they all went to, as we went through that. And I was in Palo Alto for a while, lived in Palo Alto, and then moved to San Francisco. I always wanted to experience a big city life, and so I did that.
Yeah.
Really
So
loved
does someone
it.
else.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I would love to.
Yeah. And it was the best experience ever.
That's great.
I actually just went. My mom was here visiting for a month, and so I just dropped her off at the airport, and after I just went into the city and did a little reminiscing tour and went by my old apartments and stuff and took pictures. And I'm like, and it was a beautiful day, so that helped too.
Oh,
But
we want to see some of those pictures.
I can send some. So it was a really fantastic experience. And then I met my husband online, though.
Oh, you did?
Yes, on Match.com.
Oh my
gosh, back in the day.
It works.
Yeah, it did work. I had wonderful friends over there, German friends and Americans, but he ended up being up here with his kids, and Yeah.
So that's what brought you up here.
That's what brought me up
Was
here
it?
in the end. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. So that I was trying to figure out how you came
Yes.
to Sacramento area.
Yes.
It was the
him.
guy from Match.
Yes, it was the guy from Match. Blue eyes. He has the most amazing blue eyes.
Oh,
But
that's great.
yeah, he's amazing. We've been together since January 2007 now, and married since 2009. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and we did everything a little bit backwards because we ended up. I don't remember the exact order now, but it was a little backwards because we bought a house first, and then he proposed, or I don't know in which order those two were, and then I was able to transfer with IKEA up to the West Sacramento store.
Okay. That's great. Okay.
Shortly after we got married. And so yeah, we had never lived together, but we had bought that house together and made that all work. But we knew
Oh, you knew.
that we were meant for each other, and so it was all good. The Germans are very like insurance for an insurance and like be super safe. And I remember my brother said, "Are you sure you want to buy a house with him? You have not lived together." They loved him, he came to visit and everything, and so they were happy for us, but
he's being that big brother.
The big brother, absolutely. And he was like, "Are you sure you want to buy a house? You haven't even lived together, and you're not married yet."
That is. Oh my
That's
goodness.
a big deal.
That is a big step.
Yeah. However, in Germany, everything is a little bit more bureaucratic, and so the concern was, everything. In Germany, everything in terms of buying a house is a lot longer lasting, or takes a lot more time to finance a house or to
it does.
actually buy a house.
That.
So one of the things too, which I find now really interesting being in the real estate world, but in Germany, when you rent an apartment, you have to give 3 months notice if you want to move out.
Wow.
Right?
3 months.
Yeah, 3 months. So it's a long time. And you kind of have to bring your kitchen cabinetry and everything, and all your furniture. And where here an apartment has the kitchen is there, and you have built-in linen cabinets and the appliances and stuff, and the bathrooms, everything, you have storage and stuff like that. But in Germany, it's a lot more bare. So when you move into your apartment, sometimes you even have to lay flooring, or you have to, paint the walls. That's okay, but sometimes you have to wallpaper before you paint, and you have to bring your own kitchen and built it.
So they don't even have like the cabinets.
No. So
how do you bring that in?
Sometimes you can maybe take it over from someone that was there previously, and they don't want to take it, so you can get a deal or make a deal. But most often you bring those furniture, and that's why people actually don't move that often. And they're more committed, to where they're living, and that's also why you have to give notice 3 months.
So that's probably why your family was also like, wait a second, you're moving in with this guy?
Yeah.
And because of how different it is. Okay, I see.
So there's a lot of difference in that. So again, buying a house, I think is a longer process than it is here. I think based on that as well. But here we are. You know,
that's
so
awesome.
many years later. Yeah.
So then, when did you actually decide that you wanted to start your own staging company?
Okay. Yes.
So and wait, real quick. So Hanisch, does that
Hanisch?
Hanisch.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So it's my maiden name.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay. I thought it meant something in German.
No.
Okay.
That's my maiden name, and I just way before I was with IKEA, and family and friends had always asked me, "Hey, can you help me with this and that in my home and here and there?" And so I decided I'm gonna start just have a business. Like, I just wanted to have that on the side, and I did here and there a couple of jobs, but it was never anything official, right,
Okay.
by any means.
Okay.
And then, I was with IKEA till 2016. I decided it's almost 22 years. I need a change.
Yeah.
I want to change. And my daughter was 3 at the time. So we talked about it and made all the, arrangements. What would that mean financially, too, if I were to stay home with my daughter, because we had the 2 incomes, we were living okay. The other 2 kids were with us too. So at the time. And so, you just kind of, maybe not the Netflix subscription, or,
Yeah,
it's like, and I would be the daycare, of course, and stuff like that. So you just really look at that. And I decided to take the break and stay home with my daughter. And it was the best time ever, because 3 is such a great age. And I was only talking German to her and all of that. So that really helped her to, um, be more fluent. But what actually kicked that into high gear is because my parents were supposed to come that summer after I left. And so they said, well, if you're all free now, why don't you come with, Emily and stay with us? So it was 7 weeks with my parents and family and friends with Emily.
That's
It was
great.
amazing, the best time.
Oh.
And then Chad came in the middle to visit for a couple weeks.
Oh, good.
And so, to make it super quick, but this vacation really solidified her language switch. So a couple months after the trip, she literally came in the kitchen and talked German to me and English to my hubby. It was amazing. But to come back to your question, how did I start my own business? So I was home with my daughter for about 2.5 years, and then she started preschool, and I'm like, okay, it's time, for me to get back into the adult world again.
Yes.
And I was super curious about home staging. And so people connected me from IKEA, actually, friends. They said, hey, you should talk to this friend from IKEA. She quit IKEA, or, left IKEA and started her own home staging business up north. And so I ended up talking with her, and she was an open book, and she said, gave me all this insight, and she became somewhat of a mentor for me in the staging world
that's
now.
amazing.
And she's absolutely lovely. And maybe I give her a shout out, Stacy. She's amazing in Portland. And and that kind of, got me going to kind of look around, and I ended up finding a company locally, a home staging company, that needed a designer, and so I freelanced for them for a while, and then became one of their team designers. And then COVID hit, and I had to stay home with my daughter for schooling. And so eventually they had to let me go because I couldn't work for them, but it was just a scenario. They had to let me go. So, but during that process, I loved working with them and being in that environment. And I learned all the, ropes of what to do and not to do, and how to meet realtors, and, how to communicate with them. And I had all the design background, not a problem. But it was just something. Then when COVID hit, I did a certified program, or a certificate program for home staging, that gave me all the backgrounds, how to market yourself, the website. Because again, the design side of things, I was all honed in. And working for that home staging company also showed me, how to create a design in a really quick timeline. This company specifically was volume, so that we had a lot of teams, and we would go out and do a lot of jobs in a week. We did a lot, and so I had to change gears quite a bit from my previous career with IKEA, where we planned out room settings, certain you had a week sometimes, to plan out a room setting, or maybe 2 weeks if it had to be really detailed, because you had to work with your sales manager and you know all the different departments to make it happen.
So you were
Planning.
used to it.
I was used to that kind of project planning,
and that timeline.
but and I had a lot of experience with project planning and working in teams and all of that. However, you know, it was always most often when it was specifically to room settings, it was a longer process from planning to installation. And furniture had to be built, and you know, flooring had to be put in, and paint colors and all of that. So that's a longer process, of course. But I had to change gears super quick and learn, you know, we're putting in a home tomorrow. Okay, let's pack, you know, and you're tagging this, and we're taking these furniture, and then sometimes something is not available. So then you have to pivot and figure out a different maybe color scheme or different furniture pieces and whatnot. So it was super interesting, and it was coming from such a huge company, you know, that's international, to a really local company that's a very different dynamic as well. But it was the best experience. So, but during COVID or the pandemic, being home, I ended up coming across a certified program or certification program, and I went through that. I invested in that, and the home staging company offered both vacant staging and occupied staging, which is live-in staging, for those of you who don't know what that is.
Yeah, and that's what you specialize in.
That's what I specialize in. So essentially, vacant staging is when a home is completely empty and you infuse it with furniture and a decor to make it really feel lived in. And then the occupied side of things is when people living in the home while it's listed or while it's on the market. So you want to make that look like a model home. So it's the exact reverse, right? So I really found early on, when I was doing the occupied jobs for that company, that I really thrived on, you know, using their things and moving them around maybe, or just adding some things in to fill in the gaps and enhance it. That just, you know, I was super passionate about, because the transformation is so big. And then homeowners would say, oh my gosh, why didn't I put this chair there where you put it? That would have been so great all this time that I lived here, you know?
Now,
So
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you ever when you move around their furniture, do you ever have homeowners go, no, don't like it like that?
Has not happened yet.
Good.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just curious.
But at the same time, I feel like most people, when they're selling their house, the only thing on their mind is they want to sell this house, and they want to do everything that they can.
Oh, absolutely.
So
and you're the professional, so they're looking out to you to make those decisions.
But there are those people that are kind of like the sticklers who are all, I don't like that.
You know, they've lived there for 50 years. They don't.
I mean, there's many different scenarios, right? And what I have found is that the realtors and I, or real estate agents and I, were all collaborators, right? We team up on this, and at the end of the day, it's about marketing the home, right? And that's where my background with visual merchandising and marketing comes into play, because one thing that I was, you know, how do you say? See, that's where I'm starting to lose my words. My Germish is coming out.
No.
But what was really like hammered into us was retail is detail. So it's all about the little things, you know, that you might not see because you're around it all the time, but other people that will come into your home, in the scenario, the home buyers, they see everything. And so it's all about the first impressions. And so the real estate agents that partner with me, they already kind of give the homeowners this build up and say, so Rita is coming in, and she's not going to decorate your home, but she's going to visually market it for you so that you get top dollar. And it's all about the emotional connection that buyers make, right? So with an empty home, it's somewhat easier because you can bring in a beautiful design and you show a great seating and entertaining area, or you make the, you know, the bedroom, the hotel suite. So you get all of those things really easily, or easier, I should say. None of this is easy.
Oh, yeah.
But when you come into a lived-in home, so an occupied home, you work with their furnishings, and it's not always to everybody's taste.
Yes.
So essentially what it comes down to is to neutralize, but not to neutralize so much that it becomes sterile or cold.
Yes. Yeah.
But to really bring out the best features, the layout or the architecture, or the amazing view, or maybe they have fantastic hardwood flooring that goes throughout the whole home. So and that is at any price point. And so that's something to talk about too. It could be the smallest apartment or cottage to a mansion, right? This applies to all of them, and all of them have a place.
Yeah.
And for the occupied side of things, I come in and I partner with a realtor. We talk about all the best features of the home. We walk it front to back. I give them all my recommendations. That could be paint color, that could be changing out some light fixtures, that could be painting a wall, and that is a huge one that I always talk about with them, because that can really, a really harsh color can really deter someone, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily, it might be a red color, and red is fine, but if it's the wrong hue, and wrong is, if it's a harsh hue
I get
that
it.
doesn't go with the architecture of the home, or may bring out the wrong kind of colors of your kitchen cabinet, so it doesn't really do anything for it. If you were to change that to a neutral paint color, then your kitchen cabinet suddenly can look 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
So those are things that we talk about, and what's the biggest return on investment, essentially. So I always say, and I learned that from another fabulous stager, but money is paint in a can, right? Because you spent maybe $50 on a gallon of paint, but the return on investment, offers then buyers make, because it's move-in ready, it's turnkey, they don't have to lift a finger, is huge, right?
Yeah.
And people pay for that. And so during our consultations, I, talk about how, their things, their memorabilia, their, precious collections, they may not be to, buyers' liking or taste, or artwork too, that's a big one. So we talk about that as, what is your goal, right? So the goal is that you want to make the most money, you want to attract the most buyers to get them through your door. And this is where it ties in really nicely with what you are doing, but it's all about the online presence, the social media marketing, because people are shopping online now for home. So 9 out of 10 buyers look online first before they even contact a real estate agent or step, foot through the door. So
you're absolutely right.
It's all about the presentation, and so and first impressions. And it goes from curb appeal to when you go into the house. And you have staged a little bit yourself, as you said.
Yes.
So you have some experience.
I remember you doing that.
Yeah.
What was the name of the company again? I remember it was something with my name.
Nima Loray.
Nima Loray.
That was the name of our company.
Oh, wow.
They combined 4 names together.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I was in business with my good friend Andrea, and so it was actually the first 2 letters of our daughter's names.
Oh, cool.
So it was her, Nikki and Rena it's in Madison and London. So it was N-I for Nikki, M-A for Madison, R-E for Rena, and L-O for London.
So what was the name then?
Nima Loray.
Nima Loray.
Yeah, and so
I don't know how you guys even came up with that.
We had a warehouse with accessories, and
you had some at the house too.
Yeah, we had lots.
A question.
Yes.
So for the lived-in houses, have you ever walked in and just looked at some of their furniture and just say, I can't use any of this?
Wow, that's a good question.
So I love to pride myself in that I love to work with most everything that's there. On a rare occasion, there are furniture that are not workable.
Yeah.
But it's not because of the taste or style, but going back to photography and just lightening up a space, if you have really overscaled and dark furniture, it doesn't do anything for the space. And most often it, for example, it covers up a beautiful floor, or it doesn't go with the paint color, or it just it makes the space feel cramped. So there's those situations,
Okay.
but it doesn't happen very often. And I often work with realtors that it may be an estate situation where maybe someone has passed on, or a senior couple is downsizing, and so they have maybe some more traditional or outdated furniture.
Yes. Yeah.
But I love to work with those because it's not so much about the furniture itself, it's about how you present the space. So sometimes it can be,
I like that.
the layout,
good.
sometimes it's really about the layout, and you could lose a cabinet, say, let's pack this up, let's pre-pack this, put it in the garage. It doesn't need to be there. Less is more oftentimes in those scenarios, but that you turn a cabinet, or that you turn that sofa, so it doesn't become so prominent in the main shot. Because what we're looking at too, as the realtor and I, is what is the photo shot that's going to be taken by the professional photographer for the MLS listing. So you have that first shot into the room. What does that look like? And when there is maybe a homeowner that is suspicious or not quite sure of the whole process, then I sometimes take a picture with my phone and say, look, this is what it looks like right now. So if you were to put this online, would you be enticed to come here and check this space out? And that is often like, oh my gosh, yes, you're right. Let's move this cabinet out of here,
Good. I like that.
Yeah, because it kind of goes back to what you said earlier with some homeowners saying, wow, I never even pictured, even if I changed this couch, turned it, it makes this place look so much better.
Yeah.
Because that reminds me of when my parents sold our house, and a stager came in, because we're all, we need a stager. It was probably more you. We need a stager.
Yeah.
And then they brought in these cute chairs. And I was like, this place looks way better than
This
when
isn't
we
our
lived here.
house.
This isn't our
This is
house. And they had
amazing.
they didn't even have a lot of furniture, but just like two little things, like two chairs and like a couch, and it made of a world of a difference.
Yes.
So I always strongly believe in staging.
Oh yeah,
it's a
absolutely.
must.
Now, yesterday when we were talking, I said, do you have a percentage of what's the or
We said this earlier today. The percentage of a house versus if they did stage it or if they kept it vacant.
Yeah, so this was this is interesting because there's so many facts actually out there that people don't know. But just to give you an example, I have staged houses, in the past that have been on the market unstaged, right? So a realtor or maybe a new real estate agent that took this listing on comes and says, hey, we need to stage this before it has been sitting on the market for, forever. And then we come in and stage it, and it, goes under contract within a week.
Wow.
So just think about the investment that the home sellers made in the real estate agent to put it out on the market the first time, right? And nothing happened. So you have all these carrying costs for all this time that it wasn't selling. And so it's, at the end of the day, it's all about the representation. So who you're working with to sell your home, the presentation, and the right price from the get-go.
Yes.
And if you have a pro real estate agent, they look at all the comps in the area. And if you hire a pro, you need to listen to them, right? Yeah. It's so hard for some homeowners to say, I want to be at this price, right? Well, you have to look at the market and what else is out there, because you're competing.
Yeah.
Maybe even sometimes, and that has happened several times, with 2 or 3 homes in the same neighborhood. And so you look at how are they presented, And so, for example, I come in and I help stage, and then it's such an exciting, news that you get when after the first open house, it went pending. So I just had one. I staged last week, Tuesday, and they had one open house last Saturday, and then they went under contract in 4 days on market.
Wow.
It's super exciting for me. It's super exciting for them.
Oh,
and
yeah.
invest in staging. I can only tell you
please
do.
Do.
It is cheaper or less than your first price reduction.
Oh, yeah.
Because so often I find that people that don't stage their homes and present it in a good way and have professional photography, that's another huge thing. And you guys are very aware of that.
Yes, that's
don't
a
just do
must.
it with your iPhones, realtors.
No,
get a professional
don't.
in there that
Yes.
I feel like I've never seen realtors do it with their phones. I don't think I've ever
Oh,
seen
I've
that.
seen it.
Have
those
you?
are those are the houses that sit on the market for a year
Because
and
they don't
nothing
want to put.
happens.
Yeah,
Get
that were actually
great photos.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
reminds me of. I heard the story one time. There was a beautiful house in Roseville. I don't know if you saw it, but I went into it because I just wanted to take a video and stuff for Andy. He had this house, and it was a gorgeous home. Like, the flooring was gorgeous, but it wasn't staged.
Yeah.
And I asked him, well, why aren't you guys going to get the stage? This house is gorgeous. Like a chandelier.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous. And the homeowner didn't want to pay for it. Saying, nope, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do pictures. We don't want to do anything.
Sure.
It sat and sat and sat for months. He didn't want to change the price.
Yeah.
He didn't want to do staging. Didn't want to get it cleaned.
Yeah.
Didn't want to get it cleaned. I walked in and I saw like cobwebs and I was like, this is insane.
It's not.
This
well
is not. This is not gonna.
That's
yeah.
there you go.
And
It's
I'm
not,
like,
it's not going to sell. He's going to continue to make the
Yes.
payments.
Yeah. Well,
and it was so expensive. It was an expensive house. But then crazy thing is, the homeowner eventually went to a different realtor, and then that realtor lowered the price. Basically said, I'm only going to do it if you lower the price.
Yeah.
You get it staged
And cleaned.
and it sold within a week.
Yeah.
And I'm
exactly. And
It was
at the end
crazy.
of the day, it's all about first impressions, right? And then people want to imagine themselves living there. So how
Yes.
do you do that for one with an empty home, right? There's no connection
There's
there.
no connection.
And then with a lived-in home, if it looks, cluttered and busy and full of, your kids' science projects on the
Yeah.
dining table or whatever it is, or all the family photos from people, then you don't see yourself in there. So you kind of have to strip all of that out. Again, you don't want to neutralize to an extent where it's bare or cold feeling, but you want to still get the feeling of home, and but take out that personal piece, right? And it could be anything. And to give you an example, it's not just family photos, but it's your car in the driveway. So when you have an open house or showings, you want to park your cars down the road because people come up to the house and they're like, oh no, someone lives there.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
starts there.
Yeah.
That's that.
Okay.
And then it's anything from sports paraphernalia to religious or political
Yeah,
things.
you want all that gone.
You
Yeah.
want that out because you, as a home seller, you want to open up your audience so wide.
Yeah.
To get to the most people so that you get to that end goal to sell it for more money and faster, right?
Yes. That's what it's all about.
And you want to create that emotional connection, and you can do that by staging or editing what's there. So I specialize only in occupied homes or lived-in
only?
homes,
Okay.
only. And I start my process with the consultation, realtor and homeowners together. We do that, and then they can do it themselves, so DIY it afterwards based off of my recommendations. I'm happy to be part of the process, right, in their success. But I strongly, recommend that they have me come back to fill in the gaps, to bring in some artwork, some fresh items to kind of bring it to today's,
like that.
expectations.
Yeah.
So, but when you do need someone that stages vacant, I have an amazing network. I'm part of the Real Estate and Staging Association, and they're actually international, but we have a local chapter in Sacramento, and it's been such a game changer. So this mentor that I was talking about from Portland, she back then told me, become part of RISA. That's what we call it for short. Because it's an amazing network of professionals. You get lots of education, and it's also community, right? Because sometimes and for real estate agents, I'm sure it's the same, but you kind of feel a little bit on this lonely island over here, it's like, oh, I need to stage this home, and what should I do? I have a tricky situation. I don't know what to do. And now I have this amazing group of professionals that I can lean on and ask, hey, what would you do here? Or
Yeah.
and then with that also is amazing education programs that come with that, and just really bringing the industry up to a really professional standard. There's a lot of people out there that are staging, and it's a hobby. It becomes kind of a hobby because you you can get run down pretty quickly if you don't have the right things in place. And with that, I mean also that you need to be profitable as a home stager, right? As a real estate agent does, as any small business does, you need to be profitable to survive. And I think the perception that a lot of people have is, oh, you're coming in and you're decorating, you're bringing some pillows and some artwork and some greenery, but there's so much more to it.
So much more.
So much
It's
more
a lot
to
of work.
It's a lot of logistics. It's a lot of communication, and especially for me with the occupied side of things, because I deal with the homeowners one-on-one, right?
Yes.
Their personal
and
items.
you're moving around their personal stuff.
I'm moving around their personal things. And so it starts in the consultation where I prepare them for, why are we doing this?
that's
And
good.
these are the things that will help you.
And you have a perfect personality for that.
You
Rita.
really do.
Thank
you're
you.
you're very calm.
Oh,
But you're
nurturing,
caring. Yeah.
Yeah, no, really.
Because you understand
you.
that you're dealing
Yeah.
with
That's why you're so successful working with their personal
thank you.
things.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with understanding people's stories and what situations they're in. I've met so many different people with so many different living situations. Some divorcees or seniors that have to downsize, or people that need to upgrade because they have another kid on the way. There's so many aspects to that and how to handle all of that. And my dad passed away in December of 21. And so my mom in Germany ended up, selling my childhood home, they lived in that for 45 years.
Wow.
And so, I helped her. Like my brother and I were a big part of, how do we downsize and what do we do? And it was a really fun process. At the end of the day, my mom found a wonderful apartment down the street, that she's renting now as a 1-bedroom. And so I helped her with what to keep and, design it to make it her own. And it ended up being a really great bonding,
That's great.
scenario for us. Fun. But with that, I also understand the emotional connections to things and how hard it is to let go. And, what are the things that you want to keep that bring you joy? That's a Marie Kondo thing, right? The whole joy thing.
Yeah.
What brings you joy? If it doesn't bring you joy, get rid of it.
Get rid of it. Yeah.
But so I understand and I can empathize with the scenario.
If you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
Yeah, you asked me this before.
Yeah.
I don't think anything else. I would definitely be in the creative field like this because I'm just super passionate about it.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Like I go and please, it's not. I go into people's homes and I visit friends and whatever, and I'm like, I really like what they did there. This is kind of cool, or this or that. So it's more of like I get inspired by people's homes and what they do.
Thing.
I feel like I do the same.
I do the same
thing. I think because of my background, everybody thinks, oh, you're just going to judge my design. I'm like, no. It's like, it really is so inspiring to see how people decorate, or just the situation, or how their seating arrangement is, or I don't know. It's like the little things. And I just get inspired by it. I'm never judging it because everybody has their own style.
Their own style, their own way.
And it's great.
It's Hanisch.
Well, yes. In English, we say Hanisch. Hanisch.
Hanisch.
And, yes.
Hanisch Designs.
Yes, Hanisch Designs.
And okay.
In German, it's Hanisch.
Hanisch.
But nobody says it here.
That's what she was saying it like that.
What?
You were saying
Originally?
it like yes.
I was?
Yes.
Oh, Hanisch.
And then I started saying it like that, and then I remember saying I was like, wait.
And then I said, I think we're saying it wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. But here everybody
Hanisch.
says Hanisch.
Hanisch.
So I
Hanisch.
just keep with it. It's
Hanisch.
easier.
Hanisch. Oh,
It's
Hanisch.
Hanisch, yeah.
You were saying it like that
Originally.
And
then I changed. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the actually really beautiful thing about this name is that it's my maiden name, right? Hanisch. And I took on my hubby's name, so Hanisch Dunbar.
So you use both names?
I use both names. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's hyphenated.
Okay.
That's great.
I have a funny story about that I can tell you after. But so my dad passed away in 21, and it was just so special when I hit certain milestones, and he was one of my biggest supporters. So every time something comes out, I'm like, there you go, Dad, you know?
Yeah.
It's just an homage to him in a
I
way
love
too.
that.
That's
It's so
that's
good.
beautiful.
I love that. Well, thank you for coming on our show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. But I do want you to talk about your what you asked for when you were 6, 7 years old from Santa or from your dad.
Yeah. So it was my Christmas wish list that my dad would rearrange my room, and I drew up a floor plan before and after, and I was 7 or 8. And my mom has photo albums that she made for me and my brother, and she kept it in there. She had put the date on there. So yeah, I was somewhere in there. Don't quote me, but
I hope you have a picture of that.
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Oh, we got
you
to
can
share
share
that.
Share with you. Yeah.
Okay, hope so.
And you were 7 years old, and you were
I was drawing up my floor plan before and after, and I, labeled what is each furniture piece, and yeah, it was hilarious. So I had it for years, but I picked it out, like I looked through it a year ago or so, and I picked it out. I'm like, oh my gosh, like what a amazing to think of, like all my career, and how from there already it sparked.
And here you are.
Yeah,
That's
here I am.
awesome.
Yeah.
You're a successful stager.
Yes. And I'm in year 4 now, going on year 5. Lots of
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes. Lots of ups and downs and lots of growth. Because of that reset chapter of wonderful stagers, I've learned so much, and it's been so collaborative too. So we help each other out. Literally staging sometimes when someone has a larger home, we assist each other, and that has been a game changer.
So you sometimes bring in more stages when it's a bigger project?
Yeah. So
okay, I was gonna say, because that's hard work doing every room.
Well, so I am on my own, so I'm a solopreneur or whatever. Yeah. Sounds so fancy, but
I like that.
But yeah,
Solopreneur.
But so I do the staging myself, but when it's bigger jobs, and sometimes even I bring in a couple pieces of furniture, like if it's a sofa or a dining table, so I'm able to do that. We have a fantastic stager on our team, in our chapter, who has a rental program for us, so we can bring in furniture as needed, because I only have a small warehouse where I house my decor and artwork and greenery. And
your greenery and this stuff here that she brought in today.
A little staging in here.
Yes, but so I housed that there, and I started humbly in our 3-car garage, and then it just became too much to house both cars and the ping pong table and the bicycles and everything. It was Tetris every time. And so I last year in May, I was able to move into my little warehouse in Fair Oaks, and not far away. Yeah, so that was really great. But when we do need more help, then we help each other and assist. So that's fantastic. Yeah, that has been a game changer. And actually Jacob from House to Home Moving has been a great partner, and from our networking group, and he moved me from my garage to my warehouse.
That's great.
So I know his team really well, and they've been great, and so yeah.
Good job.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
So